that abuses are taking place in the developing countries, without forgetting that transplant surgeons from the West have been encouraging and training surgeons in other countries on the profitable practice that can be generated from such transplant procedures. How can a so-called brain-dead mother deliver a live baby and produce breast milk when the transplant surgeons have been assuring the family that their loved one is dead? This last question was posed to the pro-brain-death physicians who attended the Pontifical Academy of Science conference in February 3rd and 4th, 2005, which was, by the way, requested personally by His Holiness John Paul II. He asked us to collaborate with the Pontifical Academy of Science, and we could write a book about that part. None of them, scientists who were in favor of organ transplantation, denied that the pregnant mother, who the transplant surgeons called a cadaver, who was declared brain dead, could produce milk from the breast. Such admission tumbled their assurance that the brain dead patient has no brain activity. It appears that leading organ transplant surgeons from developed nations have been influencing higher authorities within the Vatican that it is evil to steal organs in less developed countries, but that it is acceptable for transplant surgeons in developed nations to stop the heart of a donor that is beating at a rate of 100 times per day. This is another kind of euthanasia. We fear that the aim of those forces that encouraged the conference was twofold. First, obtain official approval from the leadership of the Roman Catholic Church that organ transplantation is a donation of life. Second, disguise the atrocities being perpetrated to living donors. And third, offer the procedure to be done in clean, sterile conditions. This way, the recipient can be guaranteed a better chance of survival from the transplant operation, as professional harvesters of human organs would be conducting it. Collaborating with the enemy would give the appearance that the Catholic Church was willing to compromise its moral principles and unite her efforts with organizations and pharmaceutical companies deeply involved in violating the teachings of the magisterium of the Catholic Church. Let us imagine if the Church had approved the use of artificial birth control in 1968, instead of issuing Humane Vitae proclaiming the opposite. Today, the Catholic Church would be accused of being responsible for billions of crimes against unborn children, as it is admitted even by the pharmaceutical industry that most artificial methods of birth control are abortifacient. His Holiness, the Pope, relies on the advice of the academicians. However, it is crucial that those who will be making their recommendations and conclusions be those of impeccable credentials, defenders of human life, and faithful to their Creator. Surely, pharmaceutical companies, transplant societies, the World Health Organization are not the most suitable advisors for the Pope. Evil may not be done, that good may come of it. The leadership of the Catholic Church cannot declare death unless there is no doubt that the soul has separated from the body. Pope John Paul II stated in his written remarks, February 3rd, 2005, read in his absence due to illness, to the participants of the Pontifical Academy of Science meeting entitled The Science of Death. He said the following, quote, "Within the horizon of Christian anthropology, it is well known that the moment of death for each person consists in the definitive loss of the constitutive unity of body and spirit. Each human being, in fact, is alive precisely insofar as he or she is corpore et anima unus, body and soul united. And he or she remains so for as long as the substantial unity in totality subsists." I would like to conclude with a quote from a famous philosopher and theologian, Dr. Alice von Hildebrand, when she commented on the new edition of Finis Vitae. She said the following, quote, "It is clear that the authors and protecting are protecting and preserving life from its conception to its natural end. From common sense and deep in our hearts, we know that life is a gift from God, a mystery that should be approached with trembling reverence. As my husband Dietrich von Hildebrand said repeatedly, a virtue totally forgotten today. Who are we to treat as something that can be manipulated and played with? As soon as any personal profit is at stake, fame or financial profit, an honest examination of our motivation will lead us to see that under the pretext of helping people, we are plainly serving our own interest. To quote Dietrich von Hildebrand once again, whatever earthly advantage may accrue from these experimentations, if they are to be paid for by an offense against God, they are to be rejected. A single sin can never be outweighed by great terrestrial benefits. This was already perceived in some fashion by the noble Socrates when he declared, "It is better for man to suffer injustice than to commit it. It is better not to be cured of a disease if the price to be paid is to offend God." If there is only one chance in a million that the person whose vital organs are removed is alive, the natural law tells us, if we are willing to listen, in case of doubt, abstain from acting. Thank you very much.